There is a test your doctor probably never gave you. It takes 10 seconds, costs nothing, and needs no machine, no blood, no waiting room. Yet a growing stack of research suggests that how you perform on a handful of these simple physical challenges may tell you more about how many years you have ahead of you than your cholesterol number, your blood pressure reading, or the last physical you paid for. If you're between 65 and 85, and you can still do the 6 things I'm about to show you, you are not average. You are statistically in rare company. And if you can't do some of them, stay with me, because every one of these can be rebuilt, and I'll show you how before we finish. I'm Dr. Edward. Let's begin with the one that genuinely stunned the researchers who studied it. Stand up and lift one foot off the floor. No wall, no chair, no counter, just balance on a single leg. Can you hold it for 10 seconds? It sounds almost too easy to matter. But when scientists tracked this exact movement, what they found was impossible to ignore. In a 2022 study published in the British Journal of Sports Medicine, researchers tracked 1,702 adults aged 51 to 75 for an average of 7 years, and those who couldn't hold a single-leg stance for 10 seconds had an 84% higher risk of dying from any cause within the following decade, even after adjusting for age, sex, BMI, and existing health conditions. Let that number breathe for a moment. 84%. Now here's the part that makes it real rather than just a statistic. Among those who failed the test, 17.5% died during follow-up, compared to just 4.6% of those who passed, nearly 4 times the death rate, separated by a 10-second balancing act. This isn't about being an athlete. It's about a hidden system in your brain, your inner ear, and your muscles that constantly negotiates with gravity every second you're upright. When that system quietly fails, falls follow. And after 65, a single fall can be the event that ends independence for good. But before you judge yourself too harshly, understand something important. Unlike aerobic fitness and muscle strength and flexibility, balance tends to be reasonably well preserved until the 6th decade of life, when it starts to wane relatively rapidly. That means balance isn't lost slowly and fairly across a lifetime. It falls off a cliff, and it does so right around the years most people stop practicing it. Which is exactly why so few people can pass, and exactly why passing puts you in a different category from your peers. Hold that thought, because the next one may be even more revealing, and it's something almost none of us think about until the day we're forced to. Here it is. Can you lower yourself all the way down to the floor and then stand back up without using your hands, your knees, your forearms, or anything to push against? This is called the sitting rising test, and the numbers behind it are sobering. The ability to lower yourself to the floor and get back up without using your hands may be a risk predictor for mortality, and middle-aged and older adults who scored poorly had a 3.8-fold higher risk of death from natural causes and a 6-fold higher risk of death from cardiovascular causes over 12 years of follow-up compared with those who got the highest score. Why would something so ordinary predict so much? Because this single movement quietly measures everything at once. The sitting rising test measures several key components of non-aerobic fitness simultaneously, including muscle strength or power, flexibility, balance, and body composition, without the use of any equipment. You are not being graded on grace. You're being graded on whether your body can still lift and lower itself through space using its own strength, which, if you ever slip when you're home alone, becomes the difference between standing back up and lying there waiting for help that may not come, and the risk climbs and steps you can actually feel. Each 1-point drop in the overall sitting rising score was associated with more than a 30% increase in mortality risk. The most striking finding of all, among participants who scored 0 on the rising portion, nearly half died during follow-up compared with just 4.4% of those who scored a perfect 5. Same person, same body. The only difference is what it could still do. Now, a fair caution. This is an observational study, so it doesn't prove that the movement itself keeps you alive. It's a window into the strength and mobility underneath. But that window is telling you something honest about the shape you're in. The third ability lives somewhere you'd never expect. Your hands. Can you still twist open a stubborn jar? Carry heavy grocery bags in from the car in one trip? Wring out a wet towel without wincing? Grip strength has quietly become one of the most respected predictors of longevity in modern medicine, and the evidence is enormous. The landmark data comes from the PURE study, which followed nearly 140,000 adults across 17 countries, and each 5-kilogram drop in grip strength was associated with about a 16% higher risk of death, making it a stronger predictor of mortality than systolic blood pressure. Think about what that actually means. Grip strength was found to be as good a predictor of cardiovascular-related mortality as systolic blood pressure, and a better predictor of all-cause mortality. The strength in your hands may forecast your future more accurately than one of the vital signs doctors have measured for over a century. But grip strength isn't magic, and squeezing a rubber ball won't buy you years by itself. Grip strength is a marker, not a lever in itself. It is powerful because it captures muscle mass, strength, and function in one cheap measurement. And those are what actually relate to healthy aging. When your hands weaken, it usually means your whole body is quietly shedding muscle, a condition called sarcopenia, and that slow, invisible loss is the real threat behind the number. The fourth thing you already do every single day without thinking about it. How fast do you walk? Not a race, not power walking, just your normal, comfortable pace as you cross a parking lot. Researchers pooled data from an enormous group of older adults and found something almost eerily precise. In a pooled analysis of 9 cohort studies using data from 34,485 community-dwelling adults aged 65 or older, a gait speed of about 0.8 meters per second corresponded to the median life expectancy for a person's age and sex. So your walking pace is essentially a live readout of your remaining years. Gait speeds faster than that rate predicted longer than average life expectancy, while slower gait speeds predicted shorter than average life expectancy. And the effect is steep. For every 0.1 meter per second increase in gait speed, there was roughly a 10 to 12% reduction in mortality risk. Why does something so simple carry so much weight? Because walking is not simple at all. Your body self-selects the walking speed that best accommodates all the systems needed to walk. It integrates the circulatory, respiratory, skeletal, muscular, and nervous systems. When your pace holds steady into your 70s and 80s, it's a signal that all of those systems are still cooperating. And if your walk has quietly slowed over the past couple of years, that's your body telling you something worth paying attention to now, while you still have room to act. The fifth ability is one you meet in the real world constantly: stairs. Can you climb a full flight without stopping halfway? Without hauling yourself up by the railing? Without arriving at the top gasping? Stairs demand leg power, cardiovascular endurance, and balance all at the same moment, which is why they're such an honest mirror. There's no faking a staircase. It's the same underlying strength and coordination captured by every test we've already covered, expressed in the one place you can't avoid: the ordinary business of moving through your own home. And the sixth is the one people dismiss as trivial until the day they lose it. Can you rise from a chair without pushing off with your arms? Sit down, fold your hands in your lap, and stand up using only your legs. This is pure lower body power, and it's the exact strength that lets you get off the couch, up from the toilet, out of the car, up from a low garden bench, 100 small moments a day you never notice until they turn difficult. The instant that ability slips, your world begins to shrink. You start avoiding the low chair, then the long walk, then the outing. Independence rarely disappears in one dramatic moment. It leaks away, one avoided movement at a time. So here is the truth that ties all 6 together. These are not 6 separate party tricks. They are 6 windows looking into the very same room: your strength, your balance, and your ability to move through your own life under your own power. That's why they predict so much. And here is the part that should lift your spirits, because it's the whole reason this matters. Every single one of these is trainable at any age. Balance comes back when you practice standing on one leg while you hold the kitchen counter, letting go a little more each week. Strength returns with resistance: light bands, a pair of soup cans, sitting and standing from a chair 10 times in a row. Your grip rebuilds when you carry your own bags on purpose instead of making 2 easy trips. And your walking speed rises for the simplest reason of all: you walk more and you walk with intention. None of this requires a gym membership, a supplement, or a prescription. It requires the decision to start and the willingness to be a little worse at first. So try the tests. Stand on one leg today. Lower yourself toward the floor and see what your body says. Squeeze that jar lid. If you passed all 6, protect what you have fiercely, because you've earned something most people your age have lost. And if you didn't, you haven't discovered a verdict, you've discovered a starting line. Aging well was never about the number of candles on the cake. It was always about this: whether you can still stand up, walk out your own front door, and grip the life in front of you with both hands. That ability is not fixed. It answers to what you do next. So begin today, even clumsily, even slowly, because the version of you 10 years from now is being built by the choice you make in the next 10 seconds.